Welcome back to another Makita review. If this is your first time here, then thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. If you could show me some appreciation by leaving a like and a comment, or even better, subscribe, then that would be great, because if you love Makita content, well, according to what everybody tells me, nobody does more Makita videos and reviews on YouTube than me, and I usually try and get them done before anybody else on YouTube. But that wasn't the case with this one, because as you can see with this one, it's MakTrak, and it was designed and made in the US, so it's only fair that, you know, I let them do it first. But this stuff is now starting to permeate around the rest of the world. If you're in the UK and Europe, you should be starting to see this stuff probably another couple of months, maybe July from then on, something like that. If you live in New Zealand, where I am filming this right now, then you've got about 3 weeks from when you see this video to when they will be starting to roll out into shops, quite literally. Anyway, this is of course not all of it. The rest of it is sitting behind me. This is the smallest organizer in the set. There's currently 7 different components to this. Well, there's more if you count all the stuff inside, but there's 7 different boxes that make up the kit so far. Of course, you don't have to buy all 7 of them. You can buy just the main one at the bottom and then add to it later as you go along. Whatever you want to do, depends on your job, of course. It's a modular system, so you'd make it how you want to make it. Anyway, let's get into it with what Makita call the rolling tool chest. So what you see in front of you is all that is currently available, all 7 boxes stacked together. But of course we will start with the base unit on the bottom and build from there, so we're going to have to remove a few things, which is of course very easy. Now I can remove these individually, or I can remove them several at a time. That will of course depend on the weight. Once you've got them all full, you might want to do them one by one, but at the moment I can do them a few at a time. Right, any measurements I tell you, I'll try to do in both world and American measurement units, but some of them I'm not going to be able to do off the top of my head, so they will be on the screen somewhere. Like for example, this thing can take 113 kgs max load, and it's just under 82 litres. So this rolling tool chest is the base unit that you need to buy to clip all the rest on. You could just buy the organisers if you wanted to, and if you just wanted those, that's fine. But if you want to drag it around with you and pile it all up, you need this unit first. Now this weighs 17.44 kgs, and if you can fit it in there, it will take 113 kgs inside at max load, which is quite a lot considering it only holds 82 litres. So even if you filled that up with water, it would only be 82 kgs. The wheels are 9 inches or 230 millimeters. They've got a plastic hub, and then they're sort of rubbery around the outside. Not very soft, quite hard, which is good because you don't want it to wear down. They're fairly smooth tyres, which I will talk about later. You've got an extending handle up the end here. It's fully extended at the moment. As well as laying flat like this, you can stand it up on the end, push the handle down. And it's not really in shot anymore, but can't get the camera back any further than that, I'm afraid. These units are pretty big. But you can stand that unit on its end like that. Once it's loaded up with stuff on the top, not advisable. But if you're only using the base unit, you can stand it, not a problem. Now this thing is of course plastic, but it is pretty solid. It's tough stuff, it's pretty thick. The handle has a rubberized grip here, and as well as that, just here it has what are called gecko grips. So this is designed to hook on the edge of your tray or the tailgate of your ute or pickup truck, and makes it easy for you to slide it in. Near the handle there is also this weird plastic sort of cleat here. I'll show you what that is in just a moment, but let's take a look inside this thing. Opening it up is easy. Why haven't I got this around the other way for the camera, you ask? Well, it's because I'm going to show you a special feature in a moment. There you go, we've got a couple of stays here to hold the lid up. As well as those stays, there is a permanent sort of one that you can clip on if you don't want it going anywhere, like so. It's now not going to shut on you. As well as that, you can also remove these if you want to take the lid right off, because as well as opening from this side, if I lock it again, and then teleport to the other side, I can open it from this side just the same. That's pretty cool. So 3 of the boxes do this. I'll show you them as we go along. Inside we have a tray, a stay like I said, and a divider / molly panel here, which you can hook things through, put ties around, whatever you want. If you want to get rid of that, you can put it up here, but you'll have to screw it in. It does have a lot of holes in it. There's also holes all through the top of this to screw things onto, as well as other slits for putting straps and things through. So they've thought of lots of little ways to hook things in everywhere if you so desire. You can, of course, also buy extra ones of these if, for instance, you want to put another one there, because when you're shifting this around, your tools are going to slide around a bit, so it'll depend on what size tools you're putting in here. Speaking of which, it's a bit hard to tell just how big this is without putting tools in it, eh? So let's stick some big tools in it and see what it'll take. Right, let's see how many large and awkward shaped tools we can fit in this bottom box. First up, the 270mm HS011G. That's over 10.5 inches, that blade. So let's put that in here. Right, so that fits well below the top of the thing, which is good because that's my biggest saw. The new framing nailer, 7-inch grinder, rotary hammer drill. What else? How about a plane? So we've got 5 fairly big tools in there. I could fit a few more in, a few drills and impacts and stuff like that. But let's just make sure we're going to close here. All good. Sweet as. So that's the rolling tool chest full. Now let's chuck on the large toolbox and see how much we can stick in that. The large box has 3 handles. Very heavy duty, plenty of room there to get a hand in there with a glove on or anything. As you can see, the construction is pretty solid, pretty thick. This is the mechanism for taking the boxes on and off, which you'll sort of see more of as we go along through the video. And if we take a step back, you'll see all the feet cleat type things here that slide into each other to make the boxes work. Now this box will slide in from either side, so it doesn't matter which side of the box you're standing on, this side or that side, you can't slide it on from the end, but it'll go on either way, but it just has a release on one side, as you can see, and a handle on one side. But it is double hinged like the one on the bottom, so you can open it from both sides, so you don't need to take it off and turn it around and all that sort of stuff anyway, like you might have to with some other brands. You can just open it from either side, depending on where you're standing and shit, which is pretty nifty. Slots together so easy. So footprint wise, this is basically the same as the one underneath. It certainly looks like it anyway, but it's not quite as deep. This box is 252mm high, whereas the one underneath the base unit is 295. And that brings it down to 63 litres in capacity, and it can hold 45 kgs. So unless you're filling it up entirely with screws, nails or water, you're probably not going to hit that. A few hand tools are unlikely to get to 45 kgs. All those tools I put in the bottom case don't even come to 25 kgs, and they're big heavy tools. And that box itself is a pretty hefty unit. You know, it's just plastic and air at the moment, but it weighs over 10 kgs because it is built solid. As you can see, it has the stays like the other one underneath, it has a tray like the one underneath, it has that stay like the one underneath, and a molly panel like the one underneath. We're going to remove all those at the moment though while we fill it up with something. Let's start this one off with a couple of nailers, a belt sander, a couple of multi-tools of course. Belt sanders are a bit aggressive, so another couple of sanders to finish things off. Better take a router or two. How about a third router, just for good measure? Right, can't forget a little cut-off tool and another sander, just to be on the safe side. So, look at that, man. Look at that. It all fits, no problem at all. This is going to be mighty heavy to move though once I've loaded everything up, because what have we got next? Next we've got one that's going to clip on the handle, kinda. This is the extra large extension toolbox, and as well as being able to clip on the top like so, because it's an extension toolbox, it can go on the front like so. Now this one doesn't clip on or release with the little black lever there like the other ones. It just slots over that cleat that I showed you on the main toolbox on the bottom there, and it's basically just held there by gravity. As long as you don't flip this whole thing over, it'll sit there just fine. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to chuck it back up on here and we're going to fill it up. So this box will clip over that cleat on either of the long sides of the box. As well as that, it can hinge from either side. And because it can hinge from either side, you can also undo both hinges and completely remove the lid if you wish. Like the other lids, it has some screw holes and some slots for straps. There is also somewhere here, oh yes, just here, a little slot for a tracking device like an Apple AirTag, something like that. Each one of these has a little hidden slot where you can put a tracking device. As well as that, for other security reasons, there are holes to padlock, 2 on either side of this one, so you can put up to 4 padlocks if you really wanted to on this particular one. Of course that doesn't stop anyone from picking the whole thing up and running off with it, but might be pretty heavy once you've loaded it up. This one is 58 litres and can hold up to 45 kgs. In this video we're going to see how many impact drivers we can get into it. So let's go. Now hopefully Makita don't get annoyed, but I don't actually have enough impact drivers made by Makita to fill this box. It's close, but not quite enough. But maybe if I put in all the other brands, I might be able to fill this thing. It's holding a lot. I might be able to actually fit some impact wrenches or drills in here as well. That's pretty full though. Now, there are 2 or 3 more impact drivers in this cabinet here behind me, but getting to them is going to ruin this shot, so I don't think I'll bother. It's pretty much full. I did have another Makita one, but I sold it yesterday. I'm not sure how many I just put in there, but it's going to be somewhere in the region of 30. You can count them back on the video, I guess. Let's put the lid on it and I'll see how heavy this thing is. I am actually surprised that it managed to hold all my impact drivers. I didn't think they were all going to fit in there, to be honest, because yeah, there's a lot and they take up a lot of room. Right, they're in. Can I lift it? Don't really need to lift it, I can just swivel it around. Let's move this camera back here and swivel it into position. Boom. Oh, yeah, it's solid. Thankfully there's 2 big, holy moly. I'm thinking, well, that's got to be 35 or so kgs. Anyway, let's clip it in position, like so. Done. Another one. What's next? This is the medium toolbox, and it is the first one that only hinges from one side. So it just opens up like that, hits your cabinet. It sort of locks in place. It's got a fairly stiff sort of plastic bits on the hinge there so that it holds itself open. They all have a seal as well in the lid. Now they don't have an IP rating, so they may not be waterproof, but they'll be fairly waterproof. They'll be fine for rain, just don't go water blasting them. But yeah, underneath a standard shower of rain, it should be fine. Once again, the lid's got places to attach things if you wish. Much shallower this one than the previous 3 we've looked at. This one weighs about 4.5 kgs. It can take 34 kgs of weight. Once again, 34 kgs in there would be pretty tricky. 18 litre capacity. It also comes with some trays here. So you've got a small divided tray there that goes in the end and a large one. But not only that, you've got the same again on the other side. Now they only fit in those positions. You can't put them in the middle or anything like that. It's just the way they're designed with the shape of the case and everything. But there is also space here for dividers if you wish. There is a slot there and a slot there for dividers, so you can take those out, put a divider there and there if you wanted to put tools or batteries either side. However you want. You can also put dividers into here. There is places for dividers. It doesn't come with them, but you can buy extra trays and dividers and buckets and cups and what have you, molly panels and all that sort of stuff. You can buy them all separately as optional extras. So what tools are we going to stick in this one? Are we going to put tools in here, or are we going to put something else like batteries or hand tools? Let's fill it with batteries. Let's start off with 40 volt 8 amp hour batteries. How many of these can we get in there? Okay, so you can fit 8 in there. I don't have any more 8 amp hours to put in there, so you can fit 10. You'll fit 10 in there and then a little bit of change. Or 8 and chuck those back in. Perfect. Job done. What's next? Onto the organisers now. This is the deep medium organiser. Just the one hinge, like the little toolbox we just looked at. Lots of bins in here. Let's get in a bit closer. So we've got 8 of these small bins, doof doof, 2 of these sort of medium ones, and this one long one in the middle. Now they have to stay in that configuration, so if you take them all out, it's a bit of a puzzle getting them all back in there, but I'm sure you'll work it out. Each one can have dividers in them. There is no dividers that come with it. Like I said earlier, optional extra in this part of the world anyway. These of course come out, and I'll show you more about them in one of the other boxes that we've still got to look at. If we take a look at the lid, which isn't the easiest thing in the world being that it's clear, but there is ridges here which sort of lock over the top of each of the bins down below so that you get an extra bit of height. So unlike a pack out which sort of comes down into the tubs to block them off, this goes up, so you get that extra little bit of space. You've got about another 3/4 of an inch, 20 mil, something like that there, and every little extra bit of space counts. It has a nice handle just like the one underneath. Oh, nice and tight. Oh. And yeah, good bushy handles. You can lock it in the corners as well, just like every other box in the system. The latches are all nice and big and nice and solid. These are all galvanized bar that it locks onto there. They're nice and easy. They're not really tight, they're not loose, they just feel, wow, they feel really nice. And yeah, nice, good size, easy to grip, very good latches. Now Makita say that these bins are 127 millimeters, which is about 5 inches, which is what these nails are. And sure enough, they fit in, which is pretty good. I like big screws, so I like nice deep bins. So 5-inch screws also no problem, although to me this bin is clearly a little bit different. That's because of the structure in the bottom for the clipping on and off. The lever is directly underneath this bin, so not as good as these smaller bins, as you can see, well inside there, sticking up there. What about this one? Not too bad because it's not going over that lever, but you could also put some nice long ones in there. How long can we get in there? Can we get a 10-inch Simpson strong tie screw in? No problem at all. Room to burn. We could put 11-inch ones in there. Now if you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh, that's all good and well, tools, but hey bro, I like a shallower pot, man. I only use small screws. I don't want to have to dig my hands right in there. Well, there's a couple of options, one of which I'll show you in just a second. The first one I'll tell you about. There's going to be some smaller bins soon that will fit inside here, so that you can use this as a double whammy. It'll sit in the top, probably on top of the little divider thing that's in the bottom there, because you can put a divider in the bottom of that, or sit a little tub on top, so it's a double whammy. You can fit twice as many different sorts of screws in then, but if you don't want to do that, you can just get one of these. The bins in this one are a lot shallower. These are about 85 millimeters deep. It's got the same layout, same amount of bins as the last one you saw. Everything pretty much the same, except for the latches here. So the latches and the handle are a bit different. So they're just tiny little ones on the side, and it has a fixed handle here on the front, whereas all the other ones have a handle that pops out the side. Slightly different, but of course that's just down to it being so thin. But it still has a secret tracking hole, which is in here. And last, but by no means least, the little fella here. This one, I like this. This is going to probably be one of my favorites. A little hard to tell yet because I haven't had them very long. But it is a deep bin. As you can see, the lid stays open quite nicely. We've only got the 5 bins in here, but they are nice and deep. 125 again. Can we get an 8-inch in the middle? Or just on a bit of an angle? Wouldn't fit too many 8 inches in there, but 6 would be no problem whatsoever. Done. Now there's something else I need to show you about all of these organisers that have tubs, and it's this. You can take said bin and do this. So you can hook them on the lid of any of the organisers. Just turn that round so you can see it a bit better. So if you had this one open and you got some bins from one of your other organisers underneath, you can just clip them on and they'll clip in at any of the points where cutouts are for the system for locking everything in place. As well as that, if we take an even closer look at the bin, as well as dividers and everything else, there is a piece here. A little bit hard to see black on black there on the camera, but there's a little slot there so you can stick a little bit of cardboard in there with a name tag on it. If you are unsure of what the screws are you've got inside, I could write 5" on there if I want, and 4" on the other ones, and 6" and whatever you happen to want to put inside them. So that is the first 7 boxes in the MakTrak series. And I call it a series because there's going to be more, you know, this isn't going to be it. There will be, just like Pack Out, there's going to be who knows how many more things. Pack Out started off with a few and now there's about 120. By the time I finish making this video there'll be another 20. But there's no paper towel roll holder and you can't slot a drink into the top of this or anything yet like you can with Pack Out. But there are options I can see already for this to be added to. Pack Out and some other brands, you can hang the boxes on the wall, screw a bracket on the wall, hook them on. Well, this has somewhere that you could do that. You've got a big area here, you've got big slots up under here that you could hook onto something to have it on a wall. Lots of different things that you can see that they could do with this thing. They've got the extra large extension box. Maybe they'll make a large extension box, a medium extension box. They could certainly make one down to this level at least. They can make drawers, of course, just like Pack Out. There's lots of things that could come along in the future. But I'm guessing they're going to try and roll this out around the world first before they try and add all those other things, because it'd be good to get the feedback of what people want and also just get all these out of the factories. You know, these are going to be taking up a lot of space while they're making these. They need to get a lot of these out there before they start adding on any accessories. But on that note, let me know what you think down below. What would you like to see attached to this? How would you like to see it attached? Where would you like to see it attached? All that sort of stuff. Any ideas, let me know down below. Makita do look at my videos, and though some of you may not believe it, they do actually listen, and there's been things that I've seen happen because people have mentioned it, including myself. So down below, let myself and Makita know what you'd like to see. One thing I think some of you are going to want to see is a way to attach MakPack to this thing. Currently you cannot do it, but it wouldn't be that difficult, I don't think. As you can see, width-wise, a Pack Out fits pretty well with the width of one of these organisers or toolboxes here. So it wouldn't be that hard to make an adapter that has the same profile as this, that you can clip onto the bottom of this, or just slide onto the top of one of your other cases and then drop this onto, and then clip up with MakPack clips. So I think that's something that, wow, I think they should do it. Let me know what you think of that idea down below. Alternatively, you could have something that you just attach permanently to the bottom of one of your MakPacks and then clip that onto the system of the MakTrak. Click all your other MakPacks on the top of that. I guess it's time to see how heavy this sucker is with all these tools in it. It's pretty hefty, but you know, once it's up, that's pretty easy to move back and forth. Yeah, okay, see you later. Actually, we better see how it goes when we tip it open. Will everything go everywhere? Have I got enough space to even do that in here? This is a bit of a tricky one to get in shot, but I'm going to open up the rolling toolbox on the bottom and tilt it forward and see what happens, because one of the pluses of this system is that you can get into it from anywhere. But there's a lot of weight above this. Remember, we've got about 30 impact drivers in here. We've got, I can't even remember what I put in here, nailers, sanders, etc. Let's physically, it's going to be kind of heavy. Is it going to want to tip over? I think it is. This is this is way too heavy. I'm not even going to go any further, to be honest, because I think I'm going to lose control of it. It's all going to come crashing down. Ugh. So I've got a bit too much weight in for that, but if we put the extension box on the rail where it's sort of designed to go, then would have been a lot easier because all the weight for the impact drivers will be up here. So I'll quickly just try that. You can of course remove multiple boxes at once. We've got what, 3 there. Can take those off if they're not too heavy with stuff inside them. That one's pretty heavy. Okay, we've now got that 40 odd kg bin there on the front. Should be a lot easier to tilt open now. Let's have a crack. Oh, that's still pretty heavy. There's a lot of tools in there. Yeah, thought that was going to happen. There's just too much weight in the top there. You could barely hold it back. Don't put too much heavy stuff in the top. Make sure you got all your heavy stuff in the bottom. I mean, in reality, I would never try and tilt that many containers all over at once. It's a bit mad. Ugh, far out. But in theory, depending on how much weight you've got in each one and how many you've got stacked up on top here, you can do it. But I think it would pay to remove these first, like so. Chuck them on there, and then open this up. That's a bit better. All good. Still a fair bit of weight pushing out on that top toolbox, remember, with all the tools that are in there. Not tilting over now. All good. Now these were designed in America to fit under the hard cover of a pickup truck like an F-150 or a Dodge Ram, and that's at this height here, just with the main box and the large box on top here. If you've got a van, of course, you can shove the whole thing in like this. Not only that, if you're in New Zealand, Australia, you've got a ute and you've got a canopy on the back, you can stick the whole thing in this configuration as well, because this is about 830 high, where I think most canopies are about 900. So I shifted the extra large extension box here up to the front onto the handles where it's sort of designed to go, and I'll tell you what, it's a lot heavier now. I added everything up, and with the boxes and everything that's in them at the moment, we're looking at around 155 kgs. So that's basically 50 kgs, just the plastic boxes before you put anything in them, and then about 106 kgs of tools. 30 odd impact drivers, 8 amp hour batteries, there's 5 big tools in there and about 10 in here. It's pretty heavy now, I'm not gonna lie. 155 kgs, mind you, it's still a lot easier than trying to carry 155 kgs worth of stuff sort of individually. That would take quite a bit of time, but don't go trying to wheel that up any stairs. 155 kgs, whew. Good luck trying to carry 106 kgs worth of tools without some sort of carry box. That would be a lot of individual trips with the amount of tools that are in here. And if you want to check out how this compares to pack out, well, I've got a bunch of stuff just out of shot here, which is close as I can get to the equivalent of this setup, and we'll take a look at that in the next video. I look forward to seeing what Makita come up with over the years. I'm hoping they do something where you can like clip the batteries into, say, the lid, so they slot in there, so they're not sliding around everywhere. Some sort of battery holding system, you know. I carry a lot of batteries around if I'm going to be carrying tools around, so I don't want them all just sliding around in the box every time I lift it up. It'd be good if they were in set spaces, little slots, something, because, you know, most people who have these will have a bunch of 18 volt batteries or a bunch of 40 volt batteries that they're lugging around in here as well. So it'd be good to have a dedicated sort of box just for batteries, or a charging box that you can slot and keep all your batteries in and just unclip at the end of the day, take inside and charge everything up, like the BCC 01 and 02, something along those lines. Anyway, cheers, see you on the next one. And if you don't want the little boxes on top, you can even stack it like this if you so desire. It would be good to have a